Hello everybody, it's DarlandoEanon. How are you? And more importantly, how do I look? Anyway, thank you for tuning in to hear me talk about my latest project, which is an homage video to Jodie Watley. In 1987, I believe, she shot a video in the Paris Opera House for a track from her debut album called Still a Thrill. And I believe it's still one of the only music videos that's ever been shot there. And I've always fantasized about doing a music video there, and in the age of green screen, I figured why the hell not? So that is my latest project. I've been gathering all of my materials together. I got all my shots together so that the areas of the Paris Opera House I can kind of sort of green screen and recreate the shots. I have started pulling my costume pieces, and then I realized, oh my god, I don't have a petticoat. So I obviously can't do this without a really long petticoat, so I'm waiting for that to come in, so there's a little bit of a production delay there. But I'm going to be doing a couple of different ones. I have a list of about 20 of these I want to do over the course of the next year or so, featuring various divas and men from various points of the last 30 years or so of my life, just people who've influenced me, and just some really cool things to do. But why Jodie Watley? Jodie Vanessa Watley, who won the Best New Artist Grammy in 1987 and went on to beat that tradition of people winning and never being heard from again. But from 1977 to 1983, she was in a group called Shalimar, and they had hits like Make That Move, Night to Remember, For the Lover and You. They had a pretty good run before she decided to venture out as a solo artist. Once again, that was from 1977 to 1983, so keep that in mind because we're going to come back to that. Another one of their hits was called For the Second Time Around. So she eventually moved to the UK and started doing modeling, I believe, or had been doing modeling all along, and signed to MCA Records and put out her debut record, and that started off with Looking for a New Love and all of that stuff, and there was this whole era of Jodie Watley. And to me, if you're going to talk about female singers from the 80s and the 90s, particularly R&B ones, you're going to talk about Jodie Watley. You're going to talk about Janet Jackson. You're going to talk about Pebbles. There are a whole bunch of them. But when I was putting this together, somebody asked me who Jodie Watley was, and I was just like, oh, I think I'm going to need you to leave. But no, seriously, I can understand why people younger wouldn't necessarily know who she was, but there were all these major accomplishments. I mean, she did countless Vogue covers. Her Dance to Fitness video was the first million-selling fitness video for a black artist, an African-American artist, and a female artist at the time. She shot with Steven Meisel and Jean Paul Gaultier, and everybody wanted her. Her good friend Jermaine Stewart actually made a bit of a cheeky song about that called Everybody Wants a Piece of Jodie, because she was everywhere. She was kind of ubiquitous on the scene, and now it's almost like an afterthought. I'm wondering, like, where's Jodie's MTV Icon Award? Where's that? I think she should have one. I know she got a Lifetime Achievement Award from Billboard or the Grammys or something, but I feel like there's a lot more to be mined there. I would love to see one of those BET things about the whole Shalimar madness and Jodie Watley and Andre Simone, who helped her craft her own sound. It just, oh my God, there's so much to be talked about there. But back to Still a Thrill. So in 1987, this video featured an individual named Willie Ninja, who was voguing in said video in 1987. And I remember in 1987, I was still in high school, and I had a friend say to me, oh, Jodie Watley, she's like the Black Madonna. And I was like, no. Madonna is more like the white Jodie Watley, because, again, in 1987, Jodie Watley was voguing with people. Jodie Watley was in the clubs with the kids. I saw her in LA. I saw her in New York City. She wasn't one of those people who was just talking about it. She was, you know, Jeffrey Daniels. She was always in the kids with the clubs. When she was on Soul Train, she was in the clubs with the kids. So she's somebody who's always been there on the scene. Major trendsetter in terms of fashion. I see a lot of people biting her, or not biting her style, but influenced by what she did. To me, Solange totally studied the book of Jodie Watley. If you look at her looks, there are some really great classic Solange looks that we've grown accustomed to seeing her use, but I really think her inspiration for those was Jodie Watley. So for me, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video. Let's see, what else? Back to the sound. Yeah, Andre Simone. Around the same time Janet Jackson was blowing up with Control and all of that, this album, Looking for a New Love, came out, and you know, some of it was like, I think Patrick Leonard or one of those Madonna guys worked on the record as well, but the stuff Andre Simone did was so definitive and so distinctive, and it had that sort of Minneapolis thing going on, which sort of tied it into the whole Janet Jackson thing that was going on. So I always find it really interesting when people don't mention Jodie Watley's name when it comes to what was going on with female R&B singers in the 80s. So that's why my homage. Hold on for just a few more days before the rest of the costume pieces gets here, and I'm going to shoot that and edit it and get it up. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please hit like, leave me comments, subscribe. If there's somebody that I should like me to see me do, that would be great. Leave me a suggestion. And I thank you all so much for your support, and I love you guys. And